do a zero tolerance in South Memphis? What are you actually physically doing?
We're physically doing, the Scorpion team, we do traffic stops. That was the Scorpion team. That's what we did, because the drug teams, they did their more as our investigations, and they had informants and stuff like that. Our team, our office was the car, so we would make traffic stops and use the traffic stops to find a family amount of drugs. That's what they wanted. And when you had a family amount of drugs, then you get to seize the car, and if they got money, seize the money as well. And then they wanted guns, because guns always looks good to take out the street.
And when you say they, do you mean leadership?
Yes, leadership.
So y'all are given a directive. Go to a particular neighborhood. Is that correct?
Yes.
Do zero tolerance. Is that correct?
Yes.
That means a lot of traffic stops.
Yes.
And the idea is seize drugs and guns and money.
Yes.
And stolen cars.
Yes.
Or cars.
Yeah, cars, yes.
And how long were you with the Scorpion team?
I'd say around COVID time. Around that time.
So COVID started around maybe 2020 or something? Would you have been the Scorpion teams as much as 3 years? Or?
I think so, around there. Okay. Possible.
So had you been on the Scorpion team for a good amount of time?
Yes.
On the Scorpion team, I'm going to say some names and tell me whether or not you know who these people are, okay?
Okay.
Emmett Martin.
Yes, I know that.
Was he on the Scorpion team with you?
Yes.
Demetrius Haley.
Yes.
Darius Bean.
Hey, T-Shippers.
Justin Smith.
Desmond Mills is on the witness stand against his fellow, hey, plus Ice Batty, Scorpion Unit partners. He took a plea. He's already pled guilty and took a plea.
January 7th of 2023. Okay?
Okay.
Tell me about that night.
All right. I was working Scorpion Unit, and me and Bean, we had someone under arrest for a traffic stop violation.
Let me interrupt you real quick. When you say Bean, you mean Darius Bean?
Yes.
You see him
So
in the
two of the former Scorpion Unit
Can you point him out,
cops have
and tell me
already
what he's
pled
wearing,
guilty.
he's seated?
But I think he was one that really,
Blue tie.
him and the tall one, Emmett.
I think he nodded at you, but what seat?
I think
was Mr.
Emmett
Bean?
pled guilty first, the really tall one, and then Desmond.
Smith.
All right, Mr. Smith is in number one, in the seat number one.
But I think they both
Mr.
did
Bean's
him
number two.
pretty bad.
All right, so you're with Mr. Bean.
Yes. We conducted a traffic stop. We had someone under arrest, and the suspect at the time was handcuffed in the backseat of my car. I was driving. Bean was driving alongside with me.
All right, so let me stop you. What area of town are you in?
We are in Ridgeway area. East
Okay, tell
Memphis.
this jury's not from Memphis. Okay?
Okay.
So is that downtown?
No, that's East Memphis.
Okay. East Memphis. And are you familiar with sort of a large neighborhood? Neighborhood's not the right word. Area of Memphis called Hickory Hill?
Yes.
Ridgeway is part of Hickory Hill?
Yes.
This is so sad.
And what, are there businesses in Hickory Hill?
Yes, a lot of businesses.
And there's places to eat?
Yes.
And there's also neighborhoods with residential houses.
Yes.
And is this the area that y'all have been sent to that night?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
And he was handcuffed in the backseat of my car, and then right before me and Bean were about to search his vehicle, we heard on the radio an officer keyed up said they had one resist. He's been pepper sprayed and tased, and now he's running.
All right, so someone has resisted,
Yes,
pepper sprayed and tased and run.
yes.
Okay.
And naturally, when you hear that come across the radio as an officer, you're supposed to go and help your fellow officers because you don't know what's going on over there. So when we heard it, we released the guy we had. It was just a minor offense. And
So they
got into my
released who they
car,
had to
and
get
then we
to
drove
go
the
get
area
him.
Where the location that they
You
put
had him in the back seat
him. And when we
handcuffed,
got over there,
so that means it was really
the
BS.
stop was Ross and Reigns. Traffic stop was Ross and Reigns. And
How far away from Ross and Reigns were y'all? Or how long did it take? I'm not really asking for, I don't care about the distance.
it wasn't too far, maybe a mile and a half or two more.
So they dropped what they was doing to go get Tyre. Lord, have mercy. Oh,
We got
Lord.
there, they said that Miss Nichols went southbound on Ross. So I turned down Ross, me and B, we start driving down Ross, took a first left, and it was a residential neighborhood, and we drove all around the neighborhood, and we didn't see Miss Nichols. But when I pulled out to continue to go southbound on Ross, as I was driving, I just looked in my rearview mirror, and then I saw Miss Nichols just like appear right there in the road, and I said, "Bean, I think that's him." I turned around, and I said, "Hey, what was the description of Miss Nichols?" He said it, and then we rolled the window down to talk to him, and as soon as he said, "Hey," Miss Nichols took off running, and
Yeah,
that's when
chickens
Bean got a car
come home
first.
to roost.
He started chasing him.
It wouldn't be fair, let me interrupt you, would it be fair to say that whatever description y'all were given of Mr. Nichols, did that person match that description?
Yes, and he was wiping his face. And he was wiping his face, I think with a shirt or something. And so Bean took off running. I got out of the car. I started running. And I turned back because I forgot to lock the car. I locked the car, and then by the time I turned around, I didn't see Bean or Miss Nichols no more. So I just started running, and then I seen when they went up another street. I don't know the name of that street. And then that's when I saw Bean again, Mr. Nichols, and I seen it was Smith's car. And then there was some residents outside, and I asked them, what's the name of the street, because I didn't know where I was. They gave me the name of the street, and then I put it on dispatch, and then I ran up with the rest of the other, with Bean, Smith, and Mr. Nichols.
Please come in hitting the like button.
Turn on the radio where y'all were at?
Yes, on the radio. And then I ran up there, and I immediately pepper sprayed him.
Well, when you run up there, what do you see? Who's doing what?
I see Bean and Smith, they're holding Mr. Nichols.
Is Mr. Nichols standing up or is he on the ground?
He was on the ground. He was on the ground.
Okay.
So why you pepper spray him if he already on the ground?
I pulled out the pepper spray, and I sprayed again. And I sprayed him 2 times. It wasn't working. And the 3rd time I tried to...
Did you say it wasn't working or wasn't worth it? I couldn't hear you.
No, I sprayed and it just wasn't working.
Wasn't working?
Yeah, it wasn't working. And then I sprayed the 3rd time, and the 3rd time I sprayed myself. And then when I sprayed myself, I backed away from Miss Nichols, Bean, and Smith. And I was trying to collect my thoughts. Because when you get sprayed, you really can't see that, but you can't see it.
Had you been sprayed directly in the eyes?
Yes. I sprayed myself directly in the eye.
How do you spray yourself directly in your eye?
I backed away.
People say
I was trying to collect
he
myself.
was a guard
And
at the
then
jail. Yep. He
at
would
that
be.
time,
Yeah, I didn't remember if it was
Smith
him or Haley
and
who already had
Martin was there.
prior incidents and had been fired
We did this with Mr. Bean, we need to do
from
it
the
with,
prison.
everybody, I think you've already identified him, but you tell
It
me
was
what
either
Mr.
him or
Smith
Haley,
is
so
seeking
it must have been him.
Seat 1.
For record, to reflect, he's identified Justice Smith. Smith and Bean and Emmett Martin.
Yes.
So at this point, it is those three. Is Mr. Nichols still on the ground?
Yes. Yes.
And you have sprayed yourself and you're attempting to collect yourself.
Yes. And I heard the officers kept saying, give me hands, give me hands. And because I sprayed myself, I became angry. And I used my baton. I pulled my baton out. and I
Because he
approached.
sprayed
We're
himself.
talking to you right now in this courtroom. You seem pretty mild-mannered. How angry did you become?
Very angry.
Pulled the baton out. I sprayed myself. So couldn't see. It made me angry.
Okay, what you did?
And then I pulled the baton out and I approached Mr. Nichols and I told him, I said I was gonna effing baton you. And I told the officers who were in the way to move. I said move. And then
Oh, wow.
I
Went
used
ham.
the baton on Mr. Nichols 3 times on his right arm. And then I stopped. And
Now, had you been trained in the use of this baton?
yes,
Now, with regard just to the physical way in which you struck Mr. Nichols, just in regard to where you struck Mr. Nichols, was that consistent with your training?
yes, it was.
Okay. As part of your training, were you trained when to use the baton and when not to?
Yes.
Are you supposed to use it because you're angry at somebody?
No.
You struck him 3 times where?
On his right arm.
Did he react to that?
No.
Physically, where is he at when you're striking him?
He had right arm was on the ground and left arm was up, and he kind of was like a knee in the ground, maybe I would say.
Okay, so sort of half up, half down.
Yes.
Were Bean and Smith still there with him?
I think it was Smith was holding his arm at that time.
Was Bean still there?
Yeah, he was still in the area.
Now, when you had collected yourself, did you know that Emmett Martin had soccer kicked him to the head?
No.
Did you know that Emmett Martin had kicked him even a second time to the head?
No.
Did you know that when he soccer kicked him both times that Bean and Smith were there holding him down?
No, I didn't learn the kicks until I watched the video.
And what video are you talking about?
The incident with Mr. Nichols.
I understand the incident, but which video? Do you understand?
Yeah, the Skycop camera.
Skycop camera. Now, you had a body camera on, is that correct?
Yes.
And some of the others had body cameras on, is that correct? Or do you know?
We're all supposed to.
All supposed to.
Yes.
Some did.
I didn't hear it.
Some did. Some did have body cameras on.
Yeah, I think yes. I think we all.
The Skycop camera is something different, though. Is that right?
Yes.
When did you find out that that Skycop camera was up there on the pole? When did you find out that was there?
When I got back to the office that night.
Afterwards.
Yes, afterwards.
So you didn't know it was there at the time?
No.
Tell us about after the 3 baton strikes.
After that, I stopped, and then the pepper spray is reactivating itself again. Until you wash it out, it keeps activating on and off. And I was just standing there, and then my eyes were shut, and I heard a thump sound. And I heard after the second one, that's when I peeked with my eyes open, and I looked over, and I seen Martin was punching Mr. Nichols.
Did you see what Mr. Bean and Mr. Smith were doing?
Mr. Emmett Martin.
They were just holding his hand, holding his arm.
Is Tyre standing?
Yes, he's standing.
Yep, I hope they get the book thrown at him
Was
too.
Mr. Bean on one hand and Mr. Smith on the other?
Yes,
And Mr. Martin was hit
yes,
hard?
yes.
Yeah. Oh Lord.
And after I peeked and looked, I was wondering, so why is he punching me? And then I didn't want to look no more because it didn't look good. And
You said it don't look good, what do you mean?
the way how he was punching Mr. Nichols,
Looked like it wasn't right.
correct,
Looked like it could really
Lord
hurt.
have mercy.
correct.
Oh my God. Oh.
Had you heard Tyre make any threats to you?
No.
No, I can't read. I don't recall no threats.
We heard you said something about, I'm gonna F in baton you. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did you hear anybody else there make any threats?
No, I can't recall. No.
Did you ever hear anybody there say hit him?
When I watched the video, that's when I heard the hit him.
Okay. And we're gonna watch the videos, so that'll be the appropriate time, I guess, for me to ask you about that.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Martin's hit Mr. Dean Smith at his side. What happens next?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I believe after I couldn't look no more, and then after that, I believe that's when he was taken into custody.
Now, you're not a small man. Would you agree with me?
I agree.
Is Mr. Martin bigger than you?
Just taller.
Just taller? Who is the smallest person out there?
Hey y'all, I need for y'all to hit the like
Officer or
button.
anybody.
Anybody?
Hit the
Mr.
like button.
Nichols.
Please hit the like button so we can continue. Yeah, if you don't want to hit the like button, please
Did you
leave.
ever see Mr.
That's
Nichols throw a punch?
It's just that simple.
No.
Did you ever see Mr. Nichols try to karate kick anybody?
No.
Did you ever see Mr. Nichols produce a weapon?
No.
When you said that what you saw Mr. Martin doing with Mr. Bean and Mr. Smith at his side, when you said it was wrong, well, you're doing something wrong right then too, aren't you?
Yes.
What's your duty as a police officer when you see something like that?
Stop Mr. Martin.
Hey,
You're trying to
Travis.
stop it, don't you?
Yes.
You take an oath to be a police officer, don't you?
Yes.
You understand that you have a duty to intervene,
Yes.
even if that means intervening with your fellow officers when you see excessive force. Is that right?
Yes.
Each and every one of you officers out there had a duty to intervene, didn't you?
Yes.
Did you ever say, stop?
But this is what they did on a normal basis.
No.
Do you regret that?
Yes.
Did you ever try to get yourself
I'm
in
okay.
between Mr. Martin and Tyre and...
I could be better, but I'm okay.
Whoa, we got this. We got this. We got this.
Thanks for asking. How are you, Travis?
No.
Do you regret that?
Yes.
Did you ever see Mr. Bean or Mr. Smith? We got this. We got this. Stop.
No.
They bragged
Sure,
about
see,
it.
there's
Oh
officers out
my
there do
God. Oh my God. Ugh.
No.
Instead, it just kept going.
Yes.
You said he was taken into custody. You meant that he was brought to the ground?
That he had both handcuffs on.
At this point, a bunch of people on top of him?
No, I don't. I have to see the video again, but I don't recall.
Okay, do you remember how many people were physically, taken into custody at that time?
No, I don't.
Did you ever physically touch Tyre Nichols?
Yes, I did.
When did you touch him?
When I used the baton.
I got that. So when you struck him with a baton 3 times, but did you ever handle him?
No.
Did you ever hold him up?
No.
Did you ever press him down on the ground?
No.
But you batoned him 3 times.
Yes.
After he is, I'm going to use your phrase, taken into custody, okay? Did you see Defendant Haley arrive?
I saw him arrive when I watched my camera.
Okay, so at that time you do not remember seeing Defendant Haley?
No.
Okay. But later when you watch your body-worn camera, you see Defendant Haley?
Yes.
We will watch it. At the appropriate time, I'll ask you about that. Okay?
Okay.
Now tell me what happens next.
So after he's taken custody.
In other news, Missouri residents are going to be happy to hear this. It just came out. There's a new website where any Missouri
Up against someone's car, tire, and then the fire department arrived, and they were there. They were doing what they do to someone, and then I remember I saw as they were there, Miss Nichols slouched over to the ground, and I yelled, "Hey!" I said, "Hey!" Look at him, and then.
What did they expect for him to look like?
Smith said to the fire department, he said, "Bag him."
Does that mean something about oxygen, getting oxygen to him or something?
I don't know what it means. I just know Smith went to EMT or paramedic something, but he did that. So I would say that Smith would know better what EMT paramedic should do than I would do.
Gotcha. While paramedics doing whatever they're doing, we'll see it for ourselves, you know, on the video. While he's doing what he's doing, Smith saying whatever, are you telling these paramedics, man, look at his head, he got hit a lot really hard in his head?
No, I didn't tell the paramedics anything.
What happens? Tyre's at the car on the ground.
Then, so now paramedics are now they're working on him, like they're doing their paramedic stuff with him, and find out he's going to be transported to the hospital. Our lieutenant made scene.
Is his name Dwayne Smith?
Yes.
Now, while this paramedic stuff is going on with Mr. Nichols, are you having conversations with these defendants? With Defendant Martin, and with Defendant Smith, and Defendant Dean, and Defendant Haley?
Yes.
What's the substance of those conversations?
I kept asking Martin what happened, like why you stopped him, and how do we get over here?
Hey,
How do we get to
Dante.
this?
Yeah, how did it get so bad? But you came
I
out
was in
beating
disbelief on
him
how
without even knowing the
this was.
circumstances.
Normally, as a police officer, I
Ooh.
respond if someone looks like that. I've never been part of something when someone looks like that. So I kept asking Martin over and over.
How to get to this?
Yes, how to get to this, why he stopped him, what did he do, what he had. I kept asking him.
Well, you had part of the answer of how it got to this, like this, is your anger.
Yes.
At some point in these conversations, we'll watch it on the body cam, so I'm not going to ask you
Wow.
exactly what
This
everybody
is
said.
sad, y'all.
Okay.
Okay.
But did some of these defendants make statements about hitting Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Did they make statements about everybody was rocking him or whatever?
Yes. When I listen to the video, I can tell you better.
Is there a point in the video where we're going to see one of the defendants, we'll have you describe it when we see it, makes a motion about taking your body camera off?
Yes.
What is that about?
That was Martin. He was telling me to take the camera off because he wanted to tell me something so the camera wouldn't catch it.
And we'll be able to see that on the body cam, is that right?
Yes.
Mr. Nichols is against this car. Y'all are having the conversations y'all are having. Is Mr. Nichols ultimately transported away?
Yes, he is.
Tell me about that.
We went to the hospital.
Y'all, it's 65 people in
Bean
here,
went with him. Bean was right.
and I don't even have 20 likes. Please hit the like button. Get my likes up. It's just that simple. Or go someplace else. And if you don't know how, double tap your screen on your phone or hit the thumbs up.
In the ambulance, and I was following behind. We got to the hospital, and
When you were following the ambulance, were you aware of how critical Mr. Nichols' condition was?
Yes, I called Bean as we were driving, and he said they're performing CPR.
As in his heart stopped.
But if that's for CPR, then yes.
Do you want Mr. Nichols to die?
No, I do not. I did not.
That'd be real bad. Is that right?
Correct.
You were following to the hospital, Bean's riding in the ambulance. What happens?
Get to the hospital, and then they bring him inside of one of the rooms, and the doctors and nurses, they're working on him, and me and Bean was sitting outside the room.
Y'all actually go into the hospital.
Yes.
How long do you stay in the hospital?
We were there for a long time. I believe a long time, yeah.
Why y'all always
Did y'all leave that night?
Yes.
When y'all left, was Mr. Nichols still alive?
Yes.
Thank you, Travis.
When you left, do you have conversations with Mr. Bean?
I don't think we said too much with Ryan Carr, but we was.
Didn't mean to interrupt you. You said, you don't think you said too much? I was just riding the car.
It was quiet more so.
It was quiet.
Yeah.
Worried.
Probably pretty sober.
Yes.
Worried.
Did you have a conversation that night with Mr. Haley?
Yes, I did.
How did that conversation happen?
When I was leaving the hospital, Mr. Haley kept calling my phone, and when I spoke with him, he asked me if I seen him on my body camera doing anything.
Mr. Haley asked you if you could see your body cam and see whether or not Mr. Haley was doing anything.
Yes.
Okay.
And then that's when I watched it real quick to see where he's on there, and I told him that I only see him running up on my body camera when I was walking away.
And did Mr. Haley at that point make any statement to you about kicking Mr. Nichols?
No.
Could you see Mr. Haley on your body cam kick Mr. Nichols?
No.
When did you become aware that Mr. Haley kicked Mr. Nichols?
When I think it was at the internal affairs interview.
Y'all have to speak with internal affairs, is that right?
Yes.
Y'all have to fill out forms about what type of physical contact you had with Mr. Nichols, is that right?
Yes.
Dang it.
And
Hold
y'all
on.
do those things that night?
Yes.
And that night, do you tell the
I gotta change rooms. I'm almost out of juice. Hold on. Ooh. I paused it, but in the meantime, get the lights up, get the lights up. Ooh, 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 ooh.
And quality service that makes customers feel confident.
truth and say, I batoned Mr. Nichols for no reason other than I was angry?
No.
Do you tell the truth and say, while Bean Smith stood at his arms, Mr. Martin punched him and punched him and punched him, I could hear the thuds, and I thought this was wrong?
No.
Did you tell him that just
Lord, I still just plugged up the phone.
intervened, but we didn't do it.
Yeah, we'll have to check to the lady, he can ask this question on what he said that night.
What did you tell him?
Well, the blue team's a form, like you said.
You call it the blue team, is that right?
Yeah, so when you use of force, the form name is the blue team. And on the blue team, I put the use of force that I use. You put what you use, and I did what I did.
And you didn't put that other stuff.
No, I didn't put none, no, I didn't put what I saw.
Do you even make a comment at some point that this was all by the book?
Yes, I said that on the scene, my lieutenant arrived.
And was that a truthful statement or an untruthful statement?
Untruthful statement.
Why would you make an untruthful statement about what y'all did that night?
It was just trying to, I knew it was a bad situation. I'm just trying to make it seem better.
Were you trying to get yourself out of trouble?
Yes.
Were you trying to keep your fellow police officers out of trouble?
More so me.
Or so you...
More so me.
Did you know how bad it was yet?
I knew it was real bad when we was out there. 'Cause I was praying for him when I was out there. I knew that.
Did you know they had that skycop camera video yet?
No, not till I got back to the office.
We've mentioned Mr. Haley a couple times. Can you point him out in the courtroom and tell us where he's seated?
Would that be C4?
C4, okay. So Mr. Smith, Mr. Dean, and then Mr. Haley, is that correct?
Yes.
The record could reflect that, identify Mr. Haley.
So reflected.
Or, at some point, did you find out the TBI was investigating this matter?
Yes.
And were y'all asked to come have pictures taken of y'all that night?
Yes.
And we'll do these one by one. Tell me who is this?
This is me?
And is that what you're wearing that night?
Yes, it was.
All right, that could be marked as status on the exhibit.
So the photo of Mr. Mills, as exhibit E5.
There's nothing, that obviously council has seen these pictures, these are just pictures of them that night. If we could just go ahead and publish them while we go, Judge. Let's pass this. You tell me who's in this next picture?
This is Dean.
Is that marked as status on the exhibit?
We'll show a picture of Mr. Dean as exhibit 6.
Martin.
Next on the exhibit, huh?
So a photo of Mr. Martin as exhibit 7.
Haley.
Next on the exhibit, huh?
So a photo of Mr. Haley as exhibit 8.
This is a set of 2 photographs. The second photograph is of this defendant's shoes. It's not alleged this defendant kicked the victim, but the shoes are very distinctive on the video and make it easy to follow this defendant on the video.
You guys will state like those Justice Smith's shoes.
Smith.
We'll show the 2 page of the Mr. Smith and his shoes as exhibit 9.
As they return the exhibits after it goes all the way through, I can give Mr. Mills his pen and just have him write their names on each picture.
Okay.
While we're waiting, there's one more. We're gonna watch some body cam later of the stop. Tell me who this officer is.
Hemphill?
Was Hemphill on the Scorpion team with y'all?
Yes, he was.
We'll show exhibit 10. That's a photo of Ethan.
Procedure. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't speak. I'll pass you this and ask if you recognize this, Mr. Mills.
Yes.
And what is that?
This is the traffic stop. Incident started. This is where it finished.
That's a map, is that right?
Yes.
And on it, you can see the location where there was the traffic stop, is that right?
Yes.
And is that Ross and Rains?
Yes.
That's where you drove in response to this call about a mannequin tased a pepper spray.
Yes.
And you were directed to go a certain direction, is that right?
Yes.
And is that the neighborhood? And that neighborhood's pictured on the map, is that right?
Yes.
The location where this crime happened, is that correct?
Yes.
And then there's another house on that map. It's also on Castlegate, is that right?
Yes.
What is that house that's on Castlegate? What is that location?
Mr. Nichols' house.
Mr. Nichols' house. And did you have occasion to go to Mr. Nichols' house that night?
Yes, I did.
When was that?
When my lieutenant made the scene.
We heard that Mr. Nichols is against the car laying on the ground, is that right?
Yes.
There's paramedics, is that right?
Yes.
Y'all are discussing things with each other, is that right?
Yes.
Your lieutenant makes a scene eventually, is that correct?
Yes.
And you and your lieutenant go anywhere briefly?
Yes.
Where do y'all go?
To Mr. Nichols' house.
And was it a short walk?
Yes.
And were y'all able to speak to anybody there?
Yes.
Was that Mr. Nichols' mom?
Yes.
Was it you or Mr. Lieutenant Smith was actually speaking with?
Lieutenant
Mom?
Smith.
Were you sort of hanging in the back a bit?
Yes.
We can have that marked as stays next time because of the No, I think we can be able to show this on the projector.
Oh, he look like he done aged.
Show the aerial photo as exhibit 11.
Hey.
Trying to use some technology. It's just not good. All right, what area of town is this, Detective Mills?
East Memphis.
All right, and this is East Memphis. We call the general sort of area Hickory Hill, is that right?
Yes.
And I guess it's obvious, but this is just for the record. Is this in Memphis, Tennessee,
Yes.
and in Shelby County, Tennessee?
Yes.
All these locations that we're talking about where the incident occurred are in Memphis and Shelby County, Tennessee?
Yes.
Ross and Rains. So these two fairly major streets,
Yes.
and what occurred in that location?
A traffic stop.
Okay. So this is initial traffic stop here. And let's ignore this for the time being. Location here says Castlegate and Bear Creek, is that correct?
Yes.
What happens there?
That's when I became involved.
That's when you became involved.
Yes.
Is that the location where Mr. Nichols was?
Yes.
And then just
A high-yield money market account offering great rates with unlimited access to your money? Now that's helpful.
Yes.
and what's that location?
That's his house.
And that is a very short walk, it seems, is that right?
Yes.
All of these locations, are they within less than a mile of each other?
Yes.
Okay, so we're talking short distances here.
Yes. Yes.
We skip for the time being, but let's, I have told you that there is a second pole camera in this neighborhood. Is that a second skycock camera in this neighborhood? Is that correct?
Yes.
And it is here at 6705 Ross Ridge. And we'll watch some quick pole cam video of that here in a minute. There's also a camera symbol where you said the incident occurred, where Mr. Nichols was beaten. That's because there's a skycop camera there. And we'll watch, obviously, that video again here shortly. We're going to start with one of the pre-emitted videos, Your Honor. The video of the traffic stop at Ross and Reigns.
Well, that's being set up now, the attorney's book.
It is sad to know that they stopped everything that they were doing that just to beat the crap out this man. They don't pause, y'all. They stopped everything that they was doing to beat the hell out of him.
As the court knows, there is a stipulation of fact at the start of this trial that pre-admits certain videos. The video from the traffic stop at Ross and Reigns. This will be the body-worn camera of Preston Pinkville. If you could stop it real quick. Mr. Mills, you testified that you were not present at this scene, is that correct?
Correct.
So because of that, I am not going to ask you to narrate the video and describe what's going on. You weren't there. Okay? But I am going to ask you who is who. Okay, so you can identify to the jury at least who is who.
Okay.
Body cam videos do have sound, is that correct?
Yes.
But they don't have sound for the first minute or so.
Yes.
We stopped it because it's better quality than that, something about the TVs. Approach. Check the TV behind that. Does this appear to be Preston Hemphill's body cam?
Yeah.
Speak up a
Yes.
little bit for me.
Yes.
Okay. You see the hands there?
Yes.
So whose hands are those?
That's Hempill.
Okay. And you see the car there? Whose car is that?
Miss Nichols' car.
Mr. Nichols' car. Can you tell who that is in Mr. Nichols' door there?
That's Martin.
Place him.
Hey, where's the Floyd? Suspect is running down Ross. Young male, black, slim build, blue jeans, and a hoodie. Sat down Ross, where we last saw him. Yes. Hang on.
Haley, okay. Hemphill's body cam, so Hemphill's talking to Haley, is that correct?
Yes.
And we're not gonna rewind. If we go back to sort of the chaos that we saw, could you hear Haley's voice?
Yes, I can.
Okay, could you hear Martin's voice?
Yes.
And could you hear Hemphill's voice?
Yes.
And the man on the ground, was that Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
One of the problems with that, sir. Alright, your car's right in front of you. This is my car, go for a while. Alright, hang on. Where's your water? Get my water here. Ready? Negative 2938. Where are my damn glasses at?
Who was that?
Haley.
You say Haley?
Yes, Haley.
I can't see jack shit. My glasses, what are you, fighting me? Negative, we just saw him running down Ross.
Still make your way back.
Yeah. What's up? Right by. All right, ready? Good. Well, right up. What's that wrong? That way.
Who was that?
Smith.
Okay.
Okay, I gotta find my glasses and get this damn pager downloaded.
Did you tell whose voice that was now?
That was Smith.
Smith on the radio?
Yes.
exactly what you say?
Martin.
Okay. I figured you could also be able to pull my taser. When people are talking like that and they say numbers at the start, what is that about?
The numbers are the officer's call number.
Okay.
Yeah, so every number
It's like a car number?
yes, everyone's assigned a number.
All right, so do you say whatever your car number is first and you say what you're going to say?
Yes.
Is that how that works?
I can't remember.
What's that?
I don't remember.
You don't remember if that's what they did or not?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Okay. But if somebody wants to talk, if somebody's talking on the radio, they would say their car number so people would know who's talking.
You said call number, not car number.
Oh, I'm sorry. Call number?
Yeah, you're talking about the numbers that they're calling. The numbers are assigned to officers.
I got you. Okay, so these numbers that we're hearing have to do with what type of call it is.
No, it's all right. So, Lieutenant Smith, I heard him key up. He's 2901.
Okay.
So instead of saying Lieutenant Smith, you say 2901. That belongs to him.
Okay, that's his number.
Yes.
Okay. I was saying car number, like it identifies you by your car, but everybody's identified by a number.
Yes.
Okay, so Lieutenant Smith has a number, Justice Smith has a number, you have a number?
Yes.
And what's your number out there?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Thin male black, blue jeans, and a plaid jacket.
Who was I talking to?
Martin.
Good right now? You got anything, guys?
Who was that we could hear on the radio?
That was me.
That's you?
Yes.
Okay. And what are you saying on the radio there?
Southbound on Ross.
Okay, is this after y'all found them?
Yes. That was me.
Who's that?
That's me.
Martin and all them are over there chasing them. Shit, you sprayed me too, look. Luckily you didn't get my eyes on my eyebrow. Oh, let's stomp his ass.
I hope they stop his ass.
Hemp Hill.
I hope they stomp his ass. They were going for the cars and came around to chase him.
Is Signal 11 coming to the second scene where Mr. Nichols is beat to death?
No, not while I was there.
Nah, they got you.
You know what the best part about using the Stopbox Pro is that it's so easy to get into. You don't have to worry about any batteries or locks, and the best part is it's buy one, get one free.
The LG Counter-Depth Max Refrigerator with zero clearance. Max out your space, max out your style.
I think they're fixing to bring him over here because they're further down there when he took off running. So, I mean, you know, I know. So, did you call or? Bro, you got it, we called him. But you the one that got sprayed? Yeah. Or was it for the patient? He was for the suspect. Now, we were on the ground and I thought he said I'm spraying him. It's just spraying all of us. So they took the patient away and bring him back. He took off running next time. Oh, okay. Yeah. So y'all need those or? I'm confused. Well, one of the prongs did get him. Okay, I don't know if you guys need to take it out, look at it. I don't even know if it's still out already. Yeah. Just fill it right now so we can stop you guys. Okay. Hey, you got the stuff like this? I can see who it is. Yeah, they got him down there. My partner pepper sprayed me and I tased the dude. That's all we do. 2938. Does the fire department need to come down to you or are you bringing them back down here? Down here. Bring them down here. All right. Yeah, just go down the street and you should see it.
Whose voice was that that said he was going to have down here? Or, you know,
Sound like Smith. Sound like.
we're at a fairly natural stopping place, our judge, but we can do one thing first. We can back this video up, take it off the full screen, because I'm told it's maybe the full screen that's distorting it, and just watch the first 2 minutes, just the traffic stop, smaller sort of version.
I was going to say before we do that, just for the record, when we don't watch the entire video, if we could put on the timestamp that it was stopped, I believe it was 2039, either 07 or 17.
We're making note of those times, and we'll include that in the ultimate exhibit list to the jury. So we're not going to watch this whole thing, just the stop and smaller version, because we think the TV is distorting it when it goes full screen.
Do you want to just fast forward to the part to see if the smaller range is going to fix the distortion?
We're real close, Judge, just right here. We'll see. next video will be the pole cam that we haven't seen from the neighborhood. Wall Street. I told our tech people that it's probably the laptop and they have a different one to use. I think that maybe we'll watch this video real quick and then maybe we can switch out, take a quick break. I'll figure something real quick. Mr. Mills, I told you there was actually a second pole cam in this neighborhood, is that correct?
Yes.
The 6705 Ross Ridge in this neighborhood?
Yes.
All right, now we're going to let you another time through and I'll point out something to you. Detective Mills. We're going to look in this area here. We're going to see a person. It appears to be Tyre Nichols. That does not appear to be a police car, does it?
No.
Just look on these cars. This does appear to be a police car, doesn't it? Or could you tell?
I can't tell. I just see the tail lights.
The individual is crouched down sort of between the two cars.
Yes.
And they just walks away. Did you drive down the street?
Yes.
Could that have even been your car, that second car?
Possibly.
Yeah, hard to tell.
Yeah, I can't tell.
If you were driving down the street, did you see Tyre Nichols over there in the yard or crouching down between those cars?
No.
If we could have a break, Your Honor, and switch laptops, and hopefully have better quality when we come back.
Ladies and gentlemen, jury, we're going to take a brief recess. You can leave your notebooks in your chairs and continue not to speak about the case.
Yeah, I can schedule that, but if I can be honest, because there's been such difficulties reaching you on the phone, I think we need to get it resolved as soon as possible. I suggest, the in-office appointment, the office closed today at, last appointment is at 2, but I can schedule it again for a phone appointment to resolve it if you would like.
If the news cycle proves anything, it's that our chaotic world is not slowing down anytime soon. Every single day brings a new headline, a new spin, which is why you need to tune in to the Ben Shapiro Show to cut through the noise. Join me every single weekday and stay informed with the news you need to know.
Need a high-quality AI voice like this for your content? Don't be stuck without the perfect narration for your videos,
Welcome to the bustling streets of Marrakesh.
speech for your video games,
Retrieve your treasure from the Paladin's castle.
or any type of project that needs a voice. Simply select from our vast collection of realistic voices. Type out your script and experience high-quality audio instantly.
Space is the journey with no end, the riddle with no answer, the final frontier, and perhaps the ultimate adventure.
So bring your projects to life and sign up for a free trial today with 11 Labs.
If they are not talking, that means that they have went on hold. They paused it for whatever reason. Y'all see? If they are not talking, that means that they have put it on hold. So let me play y'all some music or something until they come back. Oh, yeah, they still there. The guy just moved. So be patient. They're coming. If it go again, public service announcement. If they mute it and you don't hear nothing, that means that they muted it, not me. Okay? Yeah, this was the last.
That does not appear to be a police car, does it?
This is the last before they went on hold, on mute. Come on now. Hey, V Money 54.
This does appear to be a police car, doesn't it? Or could you tell?
I can't tell. I see the tail lights.
Individuals crouched down, sort of between two cars.
Do y'all remember hearing this?
And you just lost away. Did you drive down the street?
Yes.
Could that have even been your car, that second car?
Do y'all remember hearing this?
Possibly.
Yeah, hard to tell.
Yeah, I can't tell.
If you were driving down the street, did you see Tyre Nichols over there in the yard or crouching down between those cars?
No.
Yeah. Please do not expect for me to sit here and hold this. I've not gotten any support. So let's just listen. And if they go silent, that means that they are on hold. So this is when it went on hold. And they still are here, but they are there. So maybe they will resume. Be patient. Not entitled, but be patient.
We're going to watch notice the full camera from the scene of the meeting.
If you know what he's asking you questions, I know you may be facing this direction, but if you can just make sure your voice is loud so that the jury can hear your answers.
Yes, Your Honor.
Who are the two officers on top of them right now?
Bean and Smith.
And Smith, I think, as we said before, you can tell by the white soled shoes. Is that right?
Yes.
Who is this officer walking up?
Martin.
Were you able to see that kick to the head where you were?
When I was there?
When you were there?
No.
Where are you in this right now?
I'm far. I'm on the other side of that car, far away. Not far, but
sort of off stage, right?
yes.
Okay. Were you able to see that second kick from the head from where you were that night?
No.
We go in order. It's Martin, Bean, and then Smith, right?
Yes.
Who is that?
That's me.
You see a few something. We see you go like this.
Yes.
What are you doing?
I just opened my baton.
Okay, this is one of those collapsible type batons.
Yes.
So when you go like this, it extends.
Yes.
Can you tell us, if you stop here, can you tell here, Martin's back to us, is that correct?
Yes.
On the far right, is that Smith?
Yes.
In the middle, Bean?
Yes.
Far left, you?
Yes.
And Mr. Nichols, like you said, half on the ground?
Yes.
Stop right here. You're back to us, is that correct?
Yes.
Left with the shoes is Smith.
Yes.
On Tyre's left side.
I can't see Tyre's left side, but I can see right here, left of me.
You can see Smith.
Yes.
On the right, Bean, is that correct? We can play it a little more.
Yes, please. Okay, yes.
Okay, so left side of Tyree Smith, right side Bing, and we stopped this mid punch by Edmund Martin. Is that correct?
Yes.
You have exited again to the right, is that right?
Yes.
Where Martin and Smith and Bing.
They're still with Nichols.
Who's this man running in?
Oh, I don't know.
Right. The man that just kicked him, could you tell?
That was a little blurry with the Haley.
Okay. We'll see some body cams later, so if you can't tell who the first kick or the second kick was from, you can just say that.
Okay.
So we saw one man run in and kick him.
Yes.
Could you tell who that was?
That was Haley.
Okay. And we saw another man kick him after Haley did. Could you tell who that was?
Martin.
Who's this dragging him over to the car?
Smith. Isn't it Smith? Yes, Smith.
See this person with his phone out?
Yes.
Who's that?
That's Haley.
Did you become aware that Haley took a picture of Tyre Nichols with his phone when he was propped up against that car?
You said if I was aware?
Did you become aware of that?
Yeah.
Did you also become aware that he sent it to people?
Yes, found out later.
We'll stop this here at 2040, 38. And we are going to watch next your body cam, Detective Mills. We're going to go through that period where the sound doesn't turn on for like a minute.
Yes.
You're the one spraying, is that right?
Yes. Yes.
You sprayed yourself at this point?
Yes.
What did we just see right there, Detective Mills? Did you see that?
Nah. Can you rewind it or?
Yeah, we rewind it for a second. Rewind it just a bit. Took off his body and threw on the ground.
Like could be a body worn camera.
Okay.
Could be.
You said, so I don't want to misquote, but something to the effect of, where did you step?
Your Honor, out of the rule of completeness, I'm going to ask that, but because at this point, the narration is, we need to approach out, because it's going to be a slight speaking objection, but the video needs to play, and then he can come back and ask his questions, is how it's normally done. And right now, I would ask the court to allow him, to allow it to play to a certain point, and then come back, because it's not giving the video the weight of what it should be given, or the effect of what it should do.
Well, I mean, with regard to the video, I mean, it's being admitted into evidence. So if you're wanting to play the video in its entirety during your cross-examination,
yes,
then I'll allow you to do so. But during the direct examination, I'll allow him to ask questions with the portions that he wants to direct on.
Yes, Your Honor. Maybe approach on something I'd like to bring to the court's attention.
All right.
Just briefly, Your Honor.
Rewind it back since we took a little break, and my questions are going to be, whose voice is that? Okay.
Okay. That voice?
Whose voice is that?
Martin.
Okay.
Me?
Okay. Whose voice was that?
It's more than one.
Okay. Whose voice was him?
Your Honor.
Can you replay it?
After what I addressed, that's inappropriate.
I mean, objection. If he knows who's saying.
Does Mr. Hagerman know, or the witness? Because Mr. Hagerman can just testify.
Well, then I guess the question is, or the objection, is the objection to a leading question, or is the objection to what?
Objection, leading, suggesting an answer.
Ask him who?
So you can ask if he has knowledge of who made the statement. If he says that he has knowledge of who made the statement, then
I'm sorry, Your Honor, the records will reflect that out of Mr. Hagerman's mouth came the word hitting. That's what my objection is to.
all right. If you can rephrase your question.
We can rewind it. My question is, who says that?
Okay.
So who said that?
Sound like, I would say Martin and Smith.
said the location?
That was me.
Who's that?
That's Bean.
Who's that?
Smith.
Who are those people attending to Mr. Nichols?
That's the paramedics.
Who said that? Did you hear what that man said?
Can you rewind a little bit? What word do you want me?
Yeah. All right, right there. Who says that?
Smith.
What does that mean?
He was punching him.
What did he call it?
He said pieces, some pieces.
What does pieces mean?
Meaning a lot of punches, more than one punch.
Okay. Who said that right there?
That was Martin.
What did he say?
He's hitting him with straight haymakers.
What's a haymaker?
That's like a one-hit quitter punch.
Like a big one?
Yeah, a big one.
Like the third you heard?
Yes.
Who says that?
Martin.
What does he say?
He said he was rocking him.
What does he mean by rocking?
Punching him with the haymakers.
Who says that?
Smith.
What was he saying?
He said I jumped in, started rocking.
If you stop there, was that Defendant Smith?
Yes.
Saying something about you got that face thing you do?
Yes.
What's he talking about?
I think he's referring to, I think Shelby County have a system when they can take a picture of the face and identify someone. I'm not positive, but I think that's what he's referring to.
Okay, or I don't know either.
Oh, I think that's...
Could it possibly be referring to some sort of medical thing for the paramedics or not?
No, I think it's... I don't know.
Okay. Fair enough. Who is that?
Lieutenant Smith.
Who's talking there? Lieutenant Smith?
That's Haley.
Who said that?
Rewind that. Excuse me. Rewind it, please, a little bit. Just...
You know what they mark? I ain't get no information.
said that? Did you hear that?
Which,
Dean was rocking.
that was, yeah.
Yeah, it's ask and answer. His narration is going over and over. And I don't have an issue with the question. We're going to play the video as well. But he's narrating, trying to get to leading, he's leading him to the answers that he wants out of him. The witness has indicated an answer to all these questions twice now.
Actually, it wasn't asked how the list.
Specifically, Your Honor, the caption, the word said it was haymakers, and in what looks like to be beans, I said he's eating them. That's the third time we watched it in the last 45 seconds. I don't know how they're rewinding it so fast, but if one didn't know better, we would actually think this is just one big long conversation. So it goes to the ask and answer objection. I've heard the same clip 3 times now in the last 45 seconds.
I mean, if we're going over new information, I'll allow you to go over new information. But if we can just make sure we're going over new information.
It was a witness who wanted to answer the question.
That was Haley.
And who just said that?
The swung and hit me part?
Yeah.
That was Martin.
Who says that?
Haley. Haley.
Who's that talking?
Haley.
Judge, I'm just thinking about the record in the future. This video, he's asking who's saying what as a timestamp on it. And when you read a transcript of this, the question's going to be, who said that? And there's going to be a name answer, generally, or I don't know. But there's no timestamp. Nobody reading the transcript will be able to know what they're talking about. And I would ask that when someone's questioned about the videotape, that the timestamp be mentioned and included in the question.
If you can include that, Mr. Henry.
For the record, that was 2045-38.
Hey, I'm at. You said water hose? Man? Excuse me. Do you have a water hose I can use? It's connected, right? Okay. Hey, they got a water hose, right? Yeah, Jesus.
I got it now. My kids were like, the house is split up. The living room, there's
The guy driving oncoming traffic and stuff, and the guy up there fighting. Yes, man, you take him all the way down there.
just know it's, wow. So he's like, where is he?
Oh, he's up there, man.
He was walking.
No, he was driving oncoming traffic.
Oh my God.
Now, who's that talking to the woman there?
That's me.
And what did you say to her?
That he was driving to oncoming traffic.
Now, did you see that?
No, I was going off what Martin told me.
Timestamp is 2046:53.
Dan Chevrolet is your Tracks and Trailblazer headquarters in Kansas City. Our lot is stocked with an impressive selection of new 2025 Chevys. Whether you need a powerful pickup or a family-friendly SUV, we have a Chevrolet ready for your adventures. And our team is ready to provide an unparalleled car buying experience. Our state-of-the-art showroom is easy to get to, conveniently located in the Northland. All roads lead to Van. Together, let's drive. Start shopping now at vanchevroletkc.com.
Yeah. I will ask him. Hey, Martin. 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 All good. Yeah, I got it. Mercy. Thank you.
Martin.
Wait, what's the timestamp on it?
2049, 51 or 2. Well, the camera now is 2049, 50, 6 maybe. 6, and whose picture? Mr. Mills?
That's Martin.
That's Martin. What did Mr. Martin just do?
He signaled to me to take off my camera and talk to him.
What was that signal?
Just pointing to his body, well, where the body camera would be.
Okay.
And just
So what did that signal mean?
take it off, I got something to tell you.
To take your body camera off?
Yes.
And that timestamp is 2050 00. What did he tell you, Mr. Mills?
That conversation, I kept asking him what happened on the traffic stop, why he stopping, did he find anything, and how we get here. How we get to where we at right at that time.
Did he ever explain to you how they got there in terms of him hitting Tyre?
He said that he told me the traffic stop, swerving oncoming traffic. He said he stopped him, got the cars fighting him. He told me he put on his gun, and I think he told me like all three, him, Haley, and Hemphill was laying on him, and I think he said he pushed, Mr. Nichols pushed him off of them and took off running. He told me it's pepper sprayed and tased all over there.
Okay. But did he tell you anything about what happened there at
No.
Castle?
No. Everything he was telling me from the original traffic stop.
Okay. Whose voice was that at 2054 asking, be all right?
That was Smith.
Who says that at 2056-41 his oxygen may be low?
Smith.
At this point, do you walk away with Lieutenant Smith to go to the father's house?
Yes.
I'm just going to stop the video at 2057. I think that's a 39. And for the record, that's where we'll stop Mr. Mills's body-worn camera. Next, Mr. Mills, is I'm going to try not to ask any questions during this one and just let it play. This will be your body-worn camera audio synced up with the poll camera. Okay, so we will actually be able to see for the first time and hear the incident from Castlegate.
Okay.
Stop that now in 2038, 13. Two, and then one real short video lecture on it. We're gonna watch next Beams, Lieutenant Beams body worn camera. to remind the jury who is being in the car with.
Me.
Stop it here at 20:33:55. As the camera remains on the ground, we're going to fast forward it to 20:39. Go ahead. This is just from 20:38:19.
Come on, look. He cut here, he cut straight. Bring out that camera. 3938. Does the fire department need to come down to you, or are you bringing it back down here? Bring him down here, down here. Are you looking for the glasses, bro?
Somebody fucked my leg, bro. I know. Bro, I see my hair now. When I see that boy running, bro, come on, man, I ain't no more. Bro. Come on, over here. Hey, sit up, bro. Sit up, man. I'm fucking on my radio, bro. I see all the sound on the phone. Where's my light go, bro?
This is 2042-17. Stop it here. Since we played yours synced with the actual incident, we'll play Mr. Bean's synced with the actual incident.
Welcome to the morning medical update. When I got her text, I just found I have breast cancer. I just had to make sure that she was getting the right treatment.
Put your head down so you can see the googly eyes.
There we
This
go.
is the best
Yeah.
part of this costume. I love that you're fun like that.
Yeah, boy! Y'all know what time it is. It's Kane's the Clock. Your boy Flavor Flav is chowing down on his favorite hand-patted, cooked to order chicken fingers. One love.
We can stop that here at 2038-19. And there's just one more video. Should be from Blake's body cam. Blake's is not a
Oh, that was, oh my goodness.
trial, which should be later on in this.
Thank God I came in here and checked. It was about to go dead too. This is so sad. Okay, y'all, I'm finna step away for lunch. I'll be back.
Stop for a second. Stop for a second. Just gotta read out the timestamps. Gotta read out the timestamps. Who is that kicking? Who is that kicking? Mr.
Like Haley. Like Haley.
There at 20, 36, 21, 20.
Martin.
Mr.
Martin.
Show that stop for the record. Show that stop for the record. 20, 36, 21. 20, 36, 21. Watch a lot of videos. Watch a lot of videos. But in any of those videos, say, stop. You ever say, stop?
No.
Should you?
Yes.
Should you?
Yes.
Mr. Nichols, if you're the Tonga. Mr. Nichols, if you're the Tonga.
Yes. No.
Should you? Did you act out of anger? Did you act out of anger?
Yes.
Afterwards, did you lie about it? Afterwards, did you lie about it?
Yes. Yes.
It's all public. It's all public.
Ladies and gentlemen, the jury, your lunch is arriving. The jury, your lunch is arriving. Breaking point for the breaking point of their cross-examination. Their cross-examination. You're going to go ahead and excuse the juror.
Did they break for lunch? Let's see.
We can stop that here. Shut that stop for the record. 203621. Watch a lot of videos. From any of those videos, did you ever say stop?
No.
Should you?
Yes.
Did you hit Mr. Nichols before the time?
Yes.
Should you have?
No.
Did you have that anger?
Yes.
Afterwards, did you lie about it?
Yes.
Yes.
That's all the questions, Judge.
Ladies and gentlemen, the jury, your lunch has arrived. It's a breaking point where the defense starts their cross-examination. We're going to go ahead and excuse the juror at this time.
Right there at 20, 36, 17, 18. Who is that kicking, Mr. Nichols?
They're like Haley.
And there at 20, 36, 21, 20. Who is that kicking, Mr.
Martin.
And Griffin, shut that stop for the record at 20, 36, 21. Watch a lot of videos.
Yes.
From any of those videos, did you ever say stop?
No.
Should you?
Yes.
Did you hit Mr. Nichols with your baton?
Yes.
Should you have?
No.
Did you act out of anger?
Yes.
Afterwards, did you lie about it?
Yes.
That's all my questions, Judge.
Ladies and gentlemen, the jury, your lunch has arrived. This will be a good breaking point where the defense starts their cross-examination. So we're going to go ahead and excuse the juror at this time.
Let me see what I can find for y'all until they come back. Bear with me. Let's see what we can find for y'all. What is Chris Shore murder?
I just had lunch. As Kristen says, I haven't looked, the experts, I haven't looked at any of the relevant facts of the case, or the law, or Michigan law, or the Grand Rapids PD training materials. But trust me, bro, I'm an expert.
No, I don't want to hurt him. An activist judge busted. Let's check this out. What is this?
Of our planet. And it just popped up as soon as I finished the last show, so I thought I would hit it right now since I'm sure it's pretty darn hot stuff.
An activist
Just
judge.
has to be.
What
It
type of
couldn't be
activist?
Any other way.
Let's see.
Anna Dugan, who obstructed ICE in their lawful efforts to carry out their duty to seize an illegal migrant. We're going to break it all down. I have the complaint to share with all of you.
ICE in their
I am,
lawful
of course,
efforts to
attorney
carry
Andrew
out their duty to seize
Okay, let's move over here until the trial comes back.
We're going to break it all down. I have the complaint to share with all
An
of you.
activist judge.
I am, of course, attorney and law.
That's the attorney.
Subscribers. Hopefully, you know me already. That would be convenient is just to our efforts. And many of you, however, are relatively new to the law self-defense community, having become just recent subscribers to our YouTube channel. And that is just fine. You are more than welcome. So, join me as I break down the criminal complaint against Milwaukee County Circuit Judge with an even greater selection. Arrested by the FBI on April 25th. A judge arrested, cuffed, walked out across the sidewalk into a waiting vehicle on federal felony charges of obstruction of an official proceeding and concealing an individual to prevent discovery and arrest. That's a 5-year federal felony right there. Just that second charge. These allegations stem from an incident on April 18th, 2025, where Dugan is accused of helping Eduardo Flores Ruiz, otherwise known as the Milwaukee Man, an undocumented Mexican national.
Oh no, I'm not interested in that.
Agents at the Milwaukee County Courthouse.
But I am want to put the moms.
Obstructed.
No, I don't want to do that. Hold on. Let's go back to the mother's testimony yesterday. For the ones who missed it. Tyre Nichols' mom.
Good afternoon as well. Good afternoon. Will you introduce yourself to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, please?
Hello, my name is Roman Williams. I'm the mother of Tyre Nichols.
Ms. Wells, will you spell your first and last name for the court reporter and for the jury, please?
My first name is R-O-W, V as in Victor, A-U-G-H-N as in Nancy, last name Wells, W-E-L-L-S.
Thank you, Ms. Wells. You mentioned you were the mother of Tyre Nichols.
Yes.
Tell the jury, are you married?
Yes.
Who is your husband?
Rodney Wills.
And how long have you and Mr. Rodney been married?
It'll be 13 years in November.
You mentioned Tyre was your son. Do you have other children?
Yes.
Can you tell the jury about your other children? Their names?
Kiana Dixon is my oldest daughter. Michael Contreras is my oldest son. Lindsay Dupree is my middle son, and Tyre is my baby.
Ms. Wells, are you a native Memphian?
No.
Can you tell the jury when you moved to Memphis?
I moved to Memphis in 2008, March of 2008.
And I want to draw your attention back to the time of January 2023. At that time, where were you living in Memphis?
It's 6743 Castlegate Lane.
And who lived with you at 6743 Castlegate?
My husband and my son, Tyre.
Where were you employed back at that time in January 2023?
First Horizon Bank.
Was Mr. Rodney Wells employed at that time?
Yes.
And where did he work?
At FedEx.
Was Tyre Nichols employed at that time?
Yes.
Where did he work?
At FedEx.
Did your husband and son work together at FedEx?
Yes.
I want to draw your attention specifically to the date of January 7th, 2023, a Saturday. Tell the jury what you remember about how that day started and specifically your interactions with Tyre that morning.
Well, when I woke up that morning, Tyre wasn't at home. He came in about 11:30 that morning. There was a co-worker that was teaching Ty how to drive the forklift. So Tyre would go in on Saturdays and they would, he would teach him how to do the forklift. Tyre, like I said, he came in about 11:30. We spoke briefly. He went and laid down. He got up about 2 o'clock or something like that. He took a shower, messed around the house. And about 3:30, he was on his way out the door.
And as he was on his way out, did you have a conversation with him before he left?
Yes, I was actually in
Sorry.
the kitchen. I had just was taking out some food for dinner that night. He asked me what I was cooking. And he said, Mama, are you getting ready? Are you cooking some chicken? And I said, yes. And he said, well, how are you going to make it? And I said, well, I think I'm going to do sesame chicken today. And he just kind of rubbed his stomach. Okay. So about 3:30, he was on his way out the door. He hugged me and said, I'll see you later.
Did he enjoy your sesame chicken?
No, he never made it home to enjoy my sesame chicken.
Tell the jury what's the next thing you heard about Tyre that day.
Well, about 8:30. I say about 8:30-ish, 8:45, somewhere up in there. We got a knock at the door. My husband and I, we were getting ready to watch a basketball game. I was complaining about my stomach hurting earlier. So he decided to come in the room with me and watch the game. And we were just going to lay across the bed and watch the game. We got a knock at the door, bang, 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 Memphis police. My husband went to the door. I heard a gentleman say, does Tyre Nichols live here? My husband, he paused a second, and then I came to the door, and I said, yes, Tyre lives here. I'm his mother. What's going on? They proceeded to tell me the police officer that was at the door, it was actually 2 police officers at the door. One proceeded to tell me that Tyre was arrested. And I asked them why he was arrested. And they said for DUI. And DUI, that didn't sound right to me.
And tell the jury, why doesn't that make sense to you?
Because my son, he doesn't drink like that to have a DUI. We're not drinkers in our families. So Ty would barely drink a beer, or something. So it just didn't seem right to me. They proceeded to ask me, was he on drugs? Did he do any type of drugs? And I said, no, we don't do any type of drugs. Smoke a little marijuana. And I said, why? They said because he had all this wild strength and all this strength and everything, and they had to end up pepper spraying him and tasing him. And that still didn't sound right to me. And I made a statement. Well, if all of that happened, then somebody must have put something in his drink or something if they were saying all of this stuff happened. So the officer told me that they're going to be taking my son to the hospital. I asked him where my son was, and the officer said he was nearby. And I said, nearby? And they said they were going to take him to the hospital because he had been tased and pepper sprayed. I said, well, okay, what hospital is he going to? I need to go. The officer told me that I could not go because Ty was arrested. He proceeded to get some more information from us and everything, and then they left.
After those officers left, what did you do next?
After the officers left, I started kind of pacing the floor a little bit. I got my phone, and I started trying to call my son. He didn't answer. told my husband, come on, let's go. Let's go find Ty. He took a little too long, and I had jumped in the truck, my SUV. And there was another police officer just sitting out there. So my husband came. We were going to take the route that we thought, you know, Tyre would come home. And because they were saying that they were taking him to the hospital, we just kind of assumed that it would be St. Francis, because that's where normally they take, you know, people. So as we got into our vehicle and we drove to Rains and Castlegate, we made a right on Rains. No, we made a right on Ross, I'm sorry. We made a right on Ross. We got down to Rains and Ross. And that's when we noticed Ty's car.
Now, that intersection at Ross and Rains where you see Ty's car, how far is that from your house, Ms. Wells?
Maybe a half a mile.
When you saw Ty's car there, what did you do?
We immediately pulled over, and I got out the car and I started speaking to the officer that was there. The officer asked me again. It was a different officer. He asked me again, was my son on any type of drugs or anything, because he just had all this strength and all this Hulk Hogan strength and everything, and they had to do all these things to him in order for them to arrest him. And I kept trying to find out why they were arresting him in the first place.
And did that officer you were speaking with at Ross and Rains answer that question for you?
Not really, no. I don't recall. He just said my son was pulled over for DUI and he ran from the police. I think that's what he said. I can't remember if he...
Did you come into contact with any other officers at that scene, or just one?
There was another officer there. They were gathering up the tape. He spoke to me, the officer did, and he handed me his card. After that, we left and went back to the house.
At that point, what is your plan? Are you waiting to hear more, or what were you doing during that time?
Well, when I got back home, I called my daughter, because I was actually on the phone with my daughter prior to the police coming to the door. And I called to let her know, Ty's been arrested. And she said, what? And after I explained to her what was told to me, we were both kind of baffled about it. And I said, well, there's nothing I can do tonight, you know. I don't even know where he is. I'll just figure it out tomorrow, and I'll let you guys know what's going on.
What is the next thing you heard about or from Ty?
About 4 o'clock in the morning, I received a phone call from a doctor from St. Francis Hospital. The doctor asked me if I knew if my son was in the hospital. I said yes. I heard he got arrested and he was tased and pepper sprayed. The doctor said, no ma'am, your son is sick. And I said, what do you mean he's sick?
Your Honor, may we approach? what he said, did you become extremely concerned about Ty's condition?
Yes, very concerned. Until to the point where I called my cousin and I said, get over here right now. We need to get to the hospital and go see Ty.
And is that what you did?
Yes.
Who went to the hospital with you at that time?
My cousin Tony, she came over to meet us, and my husband and I.
What hospital was Ty at?
At St. Francis Hospital.
Tell the jury what happened when you walked into St. Francis.
As we were walking into St. Francis, there was another officer walking in. We were kind of going in the same direction, so I asked, you working late tonight, huh? He said, yes. He said, I'm here to sit with a prisoner. And I said, well, is the prisoner's name Tyre Nichols? And he said, yes. And I said, well, that's my son. He said, oh, okay, well, follow me. So we all proceeded to walk to Ty's room.
Ms. Wells, I know this is going to be difficult, but I want you to explain for the jury when you went in Ty's room what you saw, what Tyre looked like, what you saw, what you felt, what happened in that moment.
When I walked into the room and I saw my son, I immediately went over to him and I fell out on him because my son was beaten to a pulp. His head was the size of a watermelon. His nose was broken. His neck was split open from the swelling. He was bruised from head to toe. It was like they beat the shit out of him. That's what they did. They beat the shit out of my son and left him for dead. That's what they did.
Ms. Wells, were there other officers in that hospital room when you walked in?
The doctor was there. There were some other officers in there. Once I saw my son and I basically passed out on him, basically. I just laid on him and just started crying. And I just burst out and said, what the fuck is going on here? This does not look like no pepper spray and no tasing. And a police officer took my husband and I out the room. My cousin stayed there and took us into another room. I want to say it was a sergeant or captain, I can't remember. We spoke briefly. And then next thing you know, all the Shelby County police and everybody was out the room. They said TBI had taken over the case. And all the police officers that were there were gone. And so it was just the TBI, the nurses, the doctor, and my husband and my cousin. We were in the room with my son.
When you saw your son, was he ever responsive to you that night?
No. Tyre was not responsive. He was on a breathing machine. And the machine was keeping him alive.
Did you know from the minute you walked in that room that night that your son was gone?
Yes. You couldn't. There's no way my son would have survived from that. He was already deceased, basically. I say they must keep him on those breathing machines for 72 hours. And my son was deceased.
Ms. Wells, several days after that, did you get a call like that from the hospital on January 10th informing you of your son's passing?
Yes, I got a call a little after 2 by that same doctor, Charles. I want to say Charles. I can't remember. I meant to look. I can't remember. He said, Mrs. Wells? I said, yes. He said, this is Dr. from St. Francis Hospital. I said, yes. He said, I just called to tell you that I pronounced your son deceased at 1:41 p.m. And I just lost it. I dropped the phone and I lost it. 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 Because the first thing I had to do is try to figure out how I'm going to tell his siblings that their little brother is deceased. That was one of the hardest things that I ever had to do as a mother, is to explain to them. I called my daughter. When I explained it to her, I heard her falling down the stairs. She cracked her nose. And the fact that I'm from California, all my kids still live in California. So it was very difficult to not be there to tell them. I called my middle son, my oldest son, Michael. I told him, I don't even think he even heard me. And the reason why I say that is because a couple days later, he called. He said, Mom, what's going on with my little brother? Why haven't you called and told me anything? I said, Mike, Ty is gone. And he just lost it. He was like, what do you mean he's gone? I said, I told you Ty didn't make it. And he lost it. And then I had to call my other kids. My middle son, I had to call him. And then my god kids, and everybody just started. Everybody knew at that time. Yes, that was the most hardest thing that I ever had to do as a mother, as a parent, to tell the siblings that your baby brother is deceased, and really for no reason at all.
Ms. Wells, at the time that Ty passed, how old was he?
Ty was 29. He was a 29-year-old young man, still trying to find his way in life. You know, he hadn't found his way yet. He was getting there. He loved to skateboard.
Ms. Wells, I'm going to pass you a picture. Can you tell the jury what you see in that photograph?
My happy Tyree.
And is that what Tyree looked like that day he left your house on the afternoon of January 7th, 2023?
Yes. He didn't have on his suit, but yes.
Your Honor, I would ask this to be marked as Exhibit 2.
Let's go ahead and first make a stipulation on the record for Exhibit 1, and then we will show the picture of Tyre Nichols as Exhibit 2.
Your Honor, permission to publish. Ms. Wells, looking up at the TV screen here in the courtroom, is that the photograph of Tyree?
Yes.
Is that what he looked like that afternoon when he left your home?
Yes. Yes, that's what he looked like.
And Ms. Wells, after this occurred, you had been told, you mentioned that the officers said that night that Tyree was nearby.
Yes, nearby.
Did you later find out that the events in this case happened
at Castlegate and Bear Creek?
It was later on, actually my son, they were looking at different videos and things of that nature, and they realized that this had happened in a neighborhood. And as they started putting two and two together, they realized that it happened in the first cul-de-sac of our subdivision.
And tell the jury, if you can, about how far from your front door to where this happened, that cul-de-sac where Castlegate and Bear Creek is.
Hey, stop
How
playing.
far away is that?
About 80 to 100 feet.
Ms. Wells, I'm going to pass you another photograph. Ms. Wells, do you recognize what's in that photograph?
Yeah, I recognize.
And can you tell the jury what you see there?
My son beaten to a pulp.
And where was that picture taken?
At St. Francis Hospital. My husband actually took this picture.
And is that what he looked like when you first saw him?
Yes. As we were walking in, and I saw him, and as I was walking over towards him, my husband took this picture.
Your Honor, I ask this be marked as Exhibit 3.
Oh, wow, y'all. Hold on. Oh, wow. Criminal, so y'all who are familiar with,
Ms. Wells, looking at the
oh, wow, hold on.
room, is that photograph you just looked at?
Yes.
And is that what your son?
Oh, okay, I don't want to see that part. Okay, so y'all who are familiar with the case in Allison, stabbing case similar to that of Trayvon Martin, he was, hold on y'all, he was found not guilty of murder, but guilty of a lesser charge.
All right, we do begin today with some breaking news this noon hour out of Bell County, where a jury has reached a verdict just about an hour ago in the trial of Kaysen Allison. We know a lot of you have been following this very closely. Allison was accused of fatally stabbing Joe Ramirez at Belton High School back in 2022. After several hours of deliberation, the jury found Allison not guilty of murder in the death of Ramirez, but guilty of criminally negligent homicide. News 10's Isabella Quintanilla is joining us now live from outside the Bell County Justice Center, where she has been following this trial since last week. Isabella, what can you tell us?
Starts now.
Yeah, that's right, Julie. It has been a long couple of days with the jurors deliberating for nearly 11 hours in total, and many people anxiously awaited the verdict. And as you can imagine,
Hold on. Yeah, and he was an overkill to me.
What can you tell us?
I'm not gonna even lie.
Yeah, that's right, Julie. It has been a long couple of days.
But he was white, though. Remember,
11 hours
he was
total,
white.
and
He
many
is
people
white. I'm sorry.
anxiously awaited the verdict, and as you can imagine, emotions were extremely high as they waited. Even before the jury came in, the entire courtroom was tense, with people on both sides of the court looking nervous and already getting emotional. As the deputy read the verdict to the defense, there were gasps of shock and relief from both sides. And when walking out, the anger and
Oh, I'm sorry.
frustration among Joe Ramirez's family
Oh, Lord, what keeps happening? Let me get
friends was clear, with one person throwing a water bottle against a wall, another screaming as they walked out of the building.
Throwing a water
We did
bottle.
hear from Allison's defense attorney, Zachary Boyd, who says this was a hard case. Allison's defense attorney, Zachary Boyd, who says this was a hard case, but that they're relieved by the outcome.
This case has been
clear, with one person throwing a water bottle against a wall, another screaming as they walked out
Lord.
of the building. We did hear from Allison's defense attorney, Zachary Boyd, who says this was a hard case, but that they're relieved by the outcome.
This case has been accompanied with threats against Case and Allison, against Case and Allison's family, against the defense team. You felt that tension in the courtroom. We have continually requested people to keep an eye out, people to investigate, and I'm just thankful that the Bell County Sheriff's Office has taken it so seriously and taken everyone's safety seriously. Kaysen's family, the juries.
Allison has been released under his bond conditions, which will stay in place until his sentencing hearing on June 16th. Now, depending on what Judge Falconer decides, Allison could face 6 months to 2 years in a state jail. Reporting live in Belton, Isabella Quintanilla, KEWONWHITE, News 10.
Oh, wow.
Well, we want to bring you some breaking news. Right now, a jury has just returned a verdict in the trial of Case and Allison.
Yes, we just found out that Allison
y'all, he
is
stuck 4
guilty
times.
of criminally negligent homicide in the stabbing death of his Belton High School classmate Joe Ramirez back in 2022. We want to send it straight over to a 6 News reporter, Sydney Walker. Sydney, we know you've been following this from the very beginning. First question I want to ask is, emotions in the courtroom,
Case and
how were
Allison.
those?
Not guilty of murder.
Yeah, emotions were very high.
Guilty
I mean, that can be expected. I mean, it's been a long couple of days. Yesterday, we were here over 10 hours. 12 hours, probably the whole day from 9 a.m. if you're including that. So people are tired. They were ready for a verdict. People ran into the courtroom as soon as we heard there was a verdict. People were running to the front to grab tissues. There was shaking. There was crying on both sides just out of anticipation. And once that verdict was read, there were sighs of relief, audible sighs of relief from Allison's side, and tears and shaking from the side of Joe Ramirez. There's a lot of high emotions all around, so absolutely a very emotional case. I know some people, this was not the verdict they were hoping for. Others, they're just happy to have some sort of something against Allison. There's a lot of emotions in this case.
He got
okay, thank you, Sydney. Now,
negligent
we do know, this verdict
homicide.
is kind of coming to us late. We have been waiting for almost 2 days now. Do you have any idea what took so long?
Right. Well, so in this case, they had to first consider murder or self-defense or neither of those, then continue to go down into manslaughter or self-defense or neither of those, and then the last one was what he was charged with, criminally negligent homicide or not guilty on that. So there were a lot of layers to this, and in my opinion, I think that is what ended up taking them so long, because they had to go through each charge, which takes time. They had to review all of the evidence, make sure that they were considering everything. They had the opportunity to review testimony from the court reporter. There was a lot that had to be discussed. And, we got back today. They might have just wanted to sleep on it last night. We got back today, and then we had a verdict by 10:45 a.m., not too long after we got here, about 2 hours-ish after we got here. So most of the discussions were occurring yesterday, but yeah, they had to go through quite a few charges to get to where we were today.
All right, thank you so much, Sydney. I want to point this out real quick while we still have our viewers. I know that a manslaughter charge carried up to 2 to 20-year sentence. You mentioned how Ramirez's side was crying. Meanwhile, Allison's side was doing a sigh of relief, because we know that the charge that he was charged with is a lesser charge. It means that carelessness led to an act of death, which could mean up to 10 years in prison or no prison time at all. So that's kind of why you're getting those reactions. I do want to ask, however, did you get to see Case and Allison's face, and what was his face looking like whenever that verdict was read?
Well, in typical fashion, Allison was pretty quiet. He was standing up. The defense was standing up while they received the news from the jury. We didn't really hear or a peep from him, really get a reaction from him. It's kind of been that way throughout this whole case. He's been pretty stone-faced, pretty quiet, as well as his family side has been pretty quiet. But today we heard a rare sound from his side, sighs of relief after they heard their son would not be going to jail for life in prison at least. But, you know, we still don't know. That sentencing is not going to be until July, so we have some time until we figure that out.
And just another question for you, Sydney. The jury, talk about their emotions. Were you able to read any of their expressions on their face, or how were they during the trial and today?
Well, I've been here since jury selection, and I have to say I think they did a pretty good job picking the jury, because I have not been able to read anything on their faces this whole time. It's pretty split evenly gender-wise. It's a pretty diverse group. They're very quiet. You can tell that they're paying attention. They're taking notes the whole time. The foreperson really didn't have much expression whenever handing the verdict to the deputy to hand to the judge. So, I mean, they did a pretty good job picking a jury, because, you know, we want them to be pretty unbiased, focusing on the facts, and I think that that's what they did, because we really couldn't read much emotion from them as well.
Sydney, you've been following this story from the beginning. We know that there was about 100+ people who were requested to be jurors, who were summoned for this. However, for this, I believe it was, 12 jurors who ended up coming out of this. So that was part of the decision in the questioning that you were there for as well, and now we're getting the verdict of this.
Absolutely. And speaking of the jury, you know, you sat in there. The judge or the jury will decide that sentencing in July.
Yes, that will be the judge. So that was actually up to Allison and the defense team. In this case, they had the option to have the sentencing done by the judge or the jury. Allison elected for it to be done by the judge. We won't find that out. They said for 6 to 8 weeks, but we heard earlier it will be in July.
All right, thank you so much, Sydney. One more time, if you can tell us what that verdict was for those people who are just now joining us here on 6 Plus.
Yes, so in the murder trial of Case and Allison, Allison was found not guilty of murder, not guilty of manslaughter, but guilty of criminally negligent homicide by the jury just about 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago. This is breaking news. We just found out.
Yeah, and I do want to point out that 6 News was first to bring you this breaking news on air. Sydney Walker was there to take us through it all. And I do want to mention once again that criminally negligent homicide could mean up to 10 years in prison or no prison time at all. Now, Sydney, I do want to ask, since you are there, are you getting the feeling of the mood of if there's going to be any news conferences, if we're going to hear from the defense or maybe the prosecution, maybe
the family,
Joe Ramirez's family as well? Because, I mean, they've been waiting for this. I mean, I've seen her mom comment on my Facebook several times talking about, I'm waiting for this final verdict.
Yes, this has been a long-awaited, highly anticipated trial, and I know people have been talking, so we're going to try our best to hear from some of the family members, and I know that there is a chance we'll hear from the defense or the state, but you know that sentencing hasn't been done yet, so it might take some time to hear from them, but not sure, but we will let you know as soon as we hear.
Okay, Sydney, thank you so much. Sydney Walker on that case for us this morning.
And so I want to just kind of recap what we have so far. We do know that Kaysen Allison was found guilty by a Bell County jury of criminally negligent homicide. This does carry up to 10 years in prison or no prison time at all. She said sentencing is happening in July.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of the next steps in this case that so many people have been waiting. I mean, you got to think this happened back in 2022, and we just now are getting a verdict, just now having a trial. Has been pushed back several times. Even the few years that I've been here, I've seen it been pushed back as well.
Absolutely, and just kind of want to talk about that.
That means it's going to be hard for them
That's
to
when a person unintentionally
convict.
kills another person. It's a felony. They unintentionally kill another person through criminal negligence or recklessness. So just
Carmelo,
break that down for you.
All right, so we do know that the defense attorney is going to speak with us. We just got that information from Sydney Walker. We just
it's going to be
her.
hard.
She said, you know, hey, this may or may not happen. This is a developing situation. We
them.
are going to take them whenever we do hear from them. They're not going to speak to us right now, but we did just learn that. And on the Kaysen Allison side, we know that there's plenty of sighs of relief, as she mentioned, because that is a lesser charge compared to the other ones, which could carry, I mean, up to 20 years or life in prison. So they are satisfied with this. And then you got to think of Ramirez's side and his family.
Absolutely,
They
absolutely.
were, the city said they were crying.
Yeah, definitely. And I can't imagine, like you said, this has been 3 years, long-awaited trial and a lot of emotions. And I just do want to be clear to get with our producers. We will or we will not have that defense attorney.
Not right now.
Not right now. Okay, thank you so much. But yes, so much emotion. I can only imagine. And it has to be very hard for members of the jury as well. You know, 2 young men who both
Very young.
in different ways, you know, lives just...
But one
Yeah,
was
and
white.
something that they looked at with the jury is, I mean, they had to see if you knew past coverage of, if you have any past information, if you've seen this on TV and such. The jury really had to be secluded in no prior knowledge on the situation in order to just figure out what the prosecution and defense said in the courtroom and then base
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad.
it off of, base their decision off of this. I mean, again, this has been nearly 3 years. This happened back in May of 2022, and we're just now getting a verdict. And now we're waiting on a sentence, which that sentencing is happening in July to figure out Casey Allison's fate. But we know that Joe Ramirez's mom, I mean, she's been waiting on this day for a while, and now she said, as Sydney said, she was left crying based off of this decision.
Absolutely. I did get to speak to his mother a couple of times before this trial started, and she was definitely very emotional, and she did say that she wanted to talk to the media about this because it had been so long, and she had been urged, you know, from attorneys not to speak to the media until the trial was over. This has been about a 2-week trial. We can see right now some family members look like they're pouring out of the courtroom now. As you can see, emotions very, very high, as you can only imagine, on both sides. So it will definitely be interesting to hear from family and from attorneys, you know, about this decision and things like that. So a case that's been going on for about 2 weeks now. A lot of people in Central Texas have been watching this very, very closely. And yeah, this is the outcome we have now, guilty of criminally negligent homicide.
And I want to point out that man that you seen with the cowboy had this outside of the Bell County Justice Center. We know that the jury, they had to be basically escorted by the Bell County Sheriff for this because, I mean, they were sequestered yesterday. That means they decided, hey, we're going to sleep on this. We're going to come back and sleep on it because they, again, nearly 10 hours of jury deliberations yesterday. They started at 9 yesterday, and now here at 11 a.m.
Criminal,
this is when we're finally getting the verdict.
Homicide.
Joe Ramirez's family as well, because, I mean, they've been waiting for this. I mean, I've seen her mom comment on my Facebook several times talking about, I'm waiting for this final verdict.
Yes, this has been a long-awaited, highly anticipated trial, and I know people have been talking, so we're going to try our best to hear from some of the family members, and I know that there is a chance we'll hear from the defense or the state, but you know that sentencing hasn't been done yet, so it might take some time to hear from them, but not sure, but we will let you know as soon as we hear.
Okay, Sydney, thank you so much, Sydney Walker, on that case for us this morning.
And so I want to just kind of recap what we have so far. We do know that Casey Allison was found guilty by a Bell County jury of criminally negligent homicide. This does carry up to 10 years in prison or no prison time at all. She said sentencing is happening in July.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of the next steps in this case that so many people have been waiting. I mean, you got to think this happened back in 2022, and we just now are getting a verdict, just now having a trial. Has been pushed back several times. Even the few years that I've been here, I've seen it been pushed back as well.
Absolutely. And just kind of want to talk about that criminally negligent homicide. That's when a person unintentionally kills another person. It's a felony. They unintentionally kill another person through criminal negligence or recklessness. So just to kind of break that down for you.
All right, so we do know that the defense attorney is going to speak with us. We just got that information in our ear from our producer, Sydney Walker. We just heard her. She said, you know, hey, this may or may not happen. This is a developing situation. We are going to take them whenever we do hear from them. They're not going to speak to us right now, but we did just learn that. And on the Casey Allison side, we know that there's plenty of sighs of relief, as she mentioned, because that is a lesser charge compared to the other ones, which could carry, I mean, up to 20 years or life in prison. So they are satisfied with this. And then you got to think of Ramirez's side and his family.
Absolutely,
They were,
absolutely.
the city said they were crying.
Yeah, definitely. And I can't imagine, like you said, this has been 3 years, long-awaited trial, and a lot of emotions. And I just do want to be clear to get with our producers. We will or we will not have that defensive
Not right
attorney.
now.
Not right now. Okay, thank you so much. But yes, so much emotion. I can only imagine. And it had to be very hard for members of the jury as well. You know, 2 young men who both, in different ways, you know, lives just ruined.
Yeah, and something that they looked at with the jury is, I mean, they had to see if you knew past coverage of, if you have any past information, if you've seen this on TV and such. The jury really had to be secluded in no prior knowledge on the situation in order to just figure out what the prosecution and defense said in the courtroom and then base their decision off of this. I mean, again, this has been nearly 3 years. This happened back in May of 2022, and we're just now getting a verdict, and now we're waiting on a sentence.